Yeah, they've both been tremendous. I thought they played great defense. They've made great decisions out of the pick and roll or pick and pop.
The world of women's basketball has been steadily rising for decades, but it has only just started to gain the recognition it deserves. Caitlin Clark, a player who has enthralled audiences throughout the United States and abroad, has played a crucial role in this shift. Caitlin Clark, known for her remarkable abilities, exciting performances, and unmistakable personality, has single-handedly revolutionized the WNBA's reputation, attracting fans who may otherwise have neglected women's sports.
Best college athlete, women's sports presented by Athleta is Caitlin Clark.
Until recently, the WNBA failed to attract the same amount of public attention as its male counterpart, the NBA. Despite having some of the world's most gifted athletes, the league's games were often overlooked, and attendance could have been better at best.
And I think we were down 2 points at halftime, but then we started the third quarter really strong, and I think that kind of set the tone for the second half, and we didn't really look back, and then Arike got...
However, the arrival of Caitlin Clark has altered all of that. In only a few years, she has become not just the league's face, but also one of its most popular attractions. Clark has captivated basketball fans worldwide with her remarkable shooting range, ability to dominate the game, and ferocious competitive attitude. She is now the #1 player in the United States, a distinction that represents both her supremacy on and off the court.
I feel very lucky to be a part of this weekend, and I think Phoenix did a tremendous job of putting this weekend on. The fans were incredible. Obviously, the game was really good.
Caitlin Clark is not like any other player in the women's game. From the time she goes onto the court, it is evident that she boasts a distinct set of abilities that distinguishes her from her colleagues. Her shooting range is, without a doubt, the most impressive feature of her game. Clark can shoot from distances that most players would never contemplate, and she does it with incredible effectiveness. Her vast shooting range has been her hallmark, and it has changed what is possible in women's basketball.
All night tonight. Are you talking about my high school experience? Clark!
Clark's game, however, includes more than simply long shots. What actually distinguishes her is the way she blends her shooting power with other abilities to create her a complete player.
Praise. She was absolutely right in saying that. We don't disagree, but that's utopia. Reality is it didn't happen to this level until Caitlin Clark showed up.
Her court vision is superb, enabling her to make precise passes and set up her teammates for scoring opportunities. She's also an excellent ball handler, capable of breaking down defenses with her dribble and generating chances for herself and others.
Here, Caitlin Clark just dancing with the basketball, going to her left.
Clark's game is reminiscent of several of the NBA's best players. Her shooting, passing, and ball handling abilities have earned her comparisons to NBA luminaries LeBron James, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash. LeBron James is recognized for his flexibility and ability to dominate every facet of the game, and Clark has comparable characteristics. Despite being a guard, she has an outstanding ability to finish near the basket, similar to James.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to come in here and compete. We knew we needed to make the Olympic team, help them prepare for Paris, so that was our goal. We knew they were going to compete, so we competed too.
Her 62.7% shooting percentage from inside 5 feet of the basket is not only excellent, but also astounding, particularly for a player her stature. Her ability to score around the rim gives her continuous danger.
Yeah, she was huge. She never shies away from the moment. She made some huge shots for us, but she's just poised, very poised. You can see it in her face, like she wants to be in those moments, so I'm super proud of her.
Requiring defenses to keep a tight eye on her every move. Then there's the comparison to Jason Kidd, a player known for his rebounding and quick playmaking. Clark too excels in these fields. Her rebounding stats are excellent for a guard, and she's constantly eager to push the ball in transition, quickly converting defense into offense.
13,000 fans. Somebody else had 15. Everybody else had over 20,000 plus. You think that would happen if Caitlin Clark was on that team? You think that would happen if Angel Reese was on that team? But especially Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better.
Her ability to manage the pace of the game makes her an invaluable asset to her squad. Finally, there's the comparison to Steve Nash and Steph Curry, two of NBA history's finest shooters. Clark, like Nash, has a creative side to her game, often finding ways to make tough shots seem simple. Like Curry, she possesses an almost effortless shooting technique that enables her to score from wherever on the floor.
It's going to be, hard to lose, so we're just trying to get her the ball. So, proud of us. It was a lot of fun, and I thought we played really hard.
It's no surprise surprised that fans and experts alike have made these parallels. Caitlin Clark seems to combine the greatest aspects of these NBA icons into a spectacular package. Caitlin Clark's effect.
3 for the Sparks, 0 for 9, and Caitlin Clark says
stretches much beyond her performances. She has become a sensation that is propelling the WNBA forward in terms of viewership and attendance. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and it's being felt around the league.
Box office. Clark and the Fever currently lead the WNBA in average game attendance and per game TV viewership.
When Clark is on the court, everyone pays attention. Her games generate a lot of interest both from those in the bleachers and those watching at home. The stats speak for themselves. Anytime Clark performs, attendance increases dramatically. For example, the Atlanta Dream just established a record for the largest attendance at a WNBA game in Georgia history, thanks in large part to the presence of Caitlin Clark. The Caitlin Clark effect has become a formidable force in women's basketball, and other teams and players are eager to capitalize on it.
Got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level. So I thought we've been really physical. We've missed some bunnies around the rim, and so hopefully those fall in the fourth. But
this increasing interest has resulted in more games being aired nationally, providing the WNBA with a platform to reach a larger audience. Last year, the Indiana Fever had just one nationally broadcast game. This year, they had 36 of 40 games on national television. This demonstrates the WNBA's expanding popularity, with Caitlin Clark playing a significant role in that rise.
It would mean everything. That's like one of my dreams as a kid growing up. You always want to be an Olympic gold medalist.
Her presence on the court has made her a TV attraction, with millions tuning in to see her play.
Fans that love Caitlin's game, and Caitlin is having a phenomenal season, but what I want people to think about is
however, it is not only about TV ratings and attendance counts. The Caitlin Clark effect has had a direct influence on ticket sales and game advertising. When Clark is due to play, teams go all out to publicize the match. They make hype films, flood social media with postings, and even relocate games to bigger locations to meet greater demand.
she's always been a fan of mine, and I've always been a fan of hers, and she's just very down to earth, a great person. And
this proactive effort is paying off, as games starring Clark often sell out, leaving just standing room tickets available. Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA cannot be emphasized.
I'm happy for her, and it was fun. Like, they tried to sub me in for her. I'm like, no, I'm staying on the bench. This is fun to watch.
She is not just an excellent player, but also a marketing sensation, and her influence is helping to propel the league to new heights. The WNBA is still expanding, and with athletes like Clark leading the way, its prospects are brighter than ever.
Now, me as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I would have loved to see her on this international stage, but I understand that Team USA constructs their roster not necessarily.
Caitlin Clark's effect on the WNBA extends beyond her marketability and the energy she brings to the game. She is also a great player, smashing records and establishing new standards for what is possible in the league.
Without all of you, so seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but
one of the most notable accomplishments in Clark's career so far has been establishing the rookie record for most assists in a season. With 9 assists in a recent game, she broke the old record and now has 232. This accomplishment is especially amazing, considering that Clark is just in her first season with the WNBA. Her ability to improve her teammates and generate scoring chances demonstrates her selflessness and in-depth grasp of the game.
we want to be back in the playoffs. That's been our goal since, the season started. We haven't been there since 2016, so.
Clark, however, is more than simply an assister. She is also on track to beat Alyssa Thomas' all-time WNBA assist record of 316, with 12 games remaining in the season.
We got to make a playoff push. We know our schedule is going to be difficult, and there's going to be teams fighting for.
Clark has a good chance of surpassing this number, establishing her position as one of the best playmakers in league history.
Thank you so much, and I just feel really grateful to be here, and I've put on an Iowa jersey for 4 years, but like Coach Bluter and Kate said, there's still so much more fun to have, and we're not done.
In addition to her assist records, Clark has received attention for her scoring abilities. She has routinely been one of the league's top scorers, with some of the greatest shooting percentages in the WNBA. Her ability to score from any position on the floor, along with her efficiency, puts her a continuous danger to opposition defenses.
I think it's easy. These people are my best friends, and that's not for show. I seriously know, I'm not me without all of them, and they've had my back. And
Clark's accomplishments are great, but what makes them even more astounding is the circumstances in which they were accomplished. She is competing in a league that is more competitive than ever, with teams loaded with skill and coaches continuously developing new methods to slow her down.
It's going to give people an opportunity to see how good women's basketball is.
Despite these hurdles, Clark continues to compete at a very high level, and her records demonstrate her devotion, ability, and hard work. While Caitlin Clark's career has been full of plaudits and accomplishments, it has also been fraught with obstacles and scandals. Like any high-profile athlete, Clark has encountered criticism and struggle, and how she has handled these circumstances has only contributed to her fame.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years is just, I'm very grateful, starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID.
One of the most significant hurdles Clark has experienced is getting passed over for the U.S. national team. Despite her stellar success in the WNBA, she was not chosen to represent her country in international competition.
I have heard that rumor. I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they're selling pretty well.
Many fans and experts were surprised and disappointed by Clark's omission, believing that her skill and effect on the game made her an easy pick for the roster. Rather than becoming discouraged by this setback, Clark turned it into inspiration.
Obviously, my sophomore year, we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So
during a hiatus from the Olympic women's basketball squad, she rested and improved her skills. Since then, she has performed at an even better level, demonstrating that she is among the world's finest players. Her perseverance and tenacity in the face of hardship have endeared her to fans and made her a role model for young athletes worldwide.
But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league.
Clark has also been engaged in a few on-court disputes. In a recent game, she received a technical penalty for pounding the base of the hoop in desperation after a missed shot. The referee chastised her for disrespecting the game.
More than anything, like, they're my best friends off the court, and I think that's why we thrive on the court and have so much fun together. And more than anything, I know these girls are going to be my best friends for the rest of my life, and really that's all that matters to me.
But Clark claimed that her actions were motivated by her competitive personality and desire to do better. Surprisingly, she hailed the referee for the technical infraction, claiming that it inspired her to play harder and that her team improved as a result.
And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoopes, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game. I know the Monica McNutts and others were getting very, very frustrated at all of the buzz that was going in her direction, not to hate on Caitlin Clark in any way, because I'm sure Monica McNutt does not feel that way. She just knows that there were people on the ground pounding the pavement that were doing so much for women's basketball.
This event demonstrates another part of Clark's personality, her boldness. She is open about her feelings on the court and pushes the limits to achieve win.
No, Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, Cheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you?
While this has sometimes caused controversy, it has also made her one of the most captivating players to watch in the WNBA. Aside from the court, Clark has been outspoken about the WNBA's difficulties, notably in terms of pay. Like many other players in the league, she feels that WNBA compensation should be greater, particularly considering the league's expanding popularity and profitability. Clark has been a champion for WNBA players' improved wages and working conditions.
No, I mean, they're really good. They have plenty of talent on that team. It was the same, I think 4 years prior. I'm pretty sure the team WNBA beat Team USA.
And her views on the subject have resonated with many fans and teammates. Caitlin Clark's impact extends beyond her on-court accomplishments. She is also making waves off the court, notably in sponsorships and marketing.
They were perfectly fine in the Olympics. I think if anything, it shows how good this league is. It shows how much talent is in this league and how you have to show up and prepare every single night.
Clark, one of the most recognizable women in the WNBA, has won many high-profile endorsement agreements, which have considerably increased her salary and visibility.
Down people's throats because she's a cash cow. Great, they're gonna market the hell out of this white chick. That's whatever she is. She puts the ball in the hole.
Clark's endorsement partnerships include a broad variety of items and businesses, including sports gear and consumer goods. Her popularity stems not just from her basketball skills, but also from her personality and ability to interact with people.
Caitlin Clark can ball. She should have been on Team USA because you needed the marketing buzz. I didn't say she was better than all 12 players that were on the team instead of her. Even though when they almost lost to France, I was getting nervous. Diana Taurasi wasn't on the court. I said, you need somebody that can shoot.
She is seen as a relatable person, one who is enthusiastic about her sport and committed to her art.
It's going to be really nice. I mean, I've loved competing every single second, but it's going to be a great month for my body to,
This has made her a popular spokeswoman for brands trying to attract a younger, more diversified audience. Clark's endorsement earnings are one of the most profitable elements of her career. According to current predictions, she may make millions of dollars in sponsorships alone as her fame and marketability improve. This is a big achievement for the WNBA, since it demonstrates that players in the league can reach financial success comparable to those in other sports.
But this is a non-sport.
So you don't think she has, like, literally put life into WNBA? Yeah, we're talking about it right now, but I don't think she's going anywhere.
Clark's financial effect goes beyond her profits. Her participation in the league has boosted WNBA franchise values and increased total income. More fans are attending games, more merchandise is being sold, and more organizations are investing in the NBA, all of which can be traced back to the Caitlin Clark effect.
You a WNBA player? Caitlin Clark gonna get you paid. I'd figure out a way to be her friend. Or her friend of me. That's what Angel Reese has done.
Caitlin Clark's success in the sponsorship business bodes well for the WNBA's future. It demonstrates that the league's players can be more than simply athletes. They can be cultural icons and influential figures in sports and beyond.
You want to continue to get more of those players into this league because there's so many fans at the college level and continue to bring those fans here. So
as the WNBA grows, other players are sure to follow in Clark's footsteps, landing hefty contracts and helping to propel the league to new heights. Caitlin Clark's climb to the top of the WNBA has been nothing short of incredible.
I think people stepped up when their number was called and they were put into the game, and I thought we came out and started the second half well and really just found a way and dug deep and made plays when we needed to.
She has swiftly established herself as one of the most significant players in the game, thanks to her unique skill set and effect on the league's popularity. Her accomplishments on the court, along with her marketability off the court, have transformed her into a force to be reckoned with, and her future in the league seems to be very promising.
Messing with her, I always mess around with her, but then I told her, that record's for you, but maybe we'll break it at one point. Who knows?
So while we celebrate Caitlin Clark being named the #1 player in the United States, let us also look forward to the many more triumphs that are likely to follow. The WNBA is on the rise, and with stars like Clark leading the way, the future of women's basketball has never looked better.
Yeah, that's just not a basketball play, but, got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level, so I thought we've been really physical. We've missed some bunnies. Definitely, we're not coming here to just shoot around and, waste time. Like, we're here to work and get better and compete hard, and our practice boys have done a great job, too.
Really great for the state champion in high school for golf.
She's just tremendous. She's really good, and sky's the limit for her. I think she's only going to get better and better, so I'm super proud of her.
Against her today.
I'm just happy we won. It was cool to play against her, and obviously a really great game, and like you said, this crowd was absolutely incredible.
Awesome, Caitlin. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you know that two important subjects have lately sparked debate in the basketball community? First, ESPN Media has revealed shocking details about Cheryl Swoopes.
I've always been a huge Kobe Bryant fan. For me, it's always been MJ and Kobe. Like, in that order, but MJ and Kobe. And so I've always felt honestly very honored anytime.
A name associated with brilliance in women's basketball. Second, Caitlin Clark just performed a performance that has the potential to change the sport's future.
All right, Caitlin, your first WNBA game, was it everything you expected it to be? I know it wasn't the outcome you wanted, but tell us how did you feel about your first performance?
In this video, we'll delve into these themes and discuss what they represent for basketball's present and future. So stay tuned as we reveal these fantastic advancements.
Caitlin Clark herself of the WNBA. Let's get to the WNBA and this sensational rookie from the Indiana Fever who continues.
Let's begin with the surprising findings regarding Cheryl Swoopes. Swoopes, a pioneer in women's basketball, has long been recognized for her contributions to the game.
So I'm right-handed, but I love going left. I don't know how that makes sense, but I do. And everybody knew what my signature move was, but nobody could ever stop it. Like, I like to get the ball at, do you know what the elbow is?
However, recent ESPN investigations have shed additional light on her career and personal life, prompting concerns and conversations among the basketball world.
Talked to him for a minute and introduced him to a couple of my friends that were with me, and like he hugged me, and I had never met Gigi prior to that day. So he introduced me to Gigi, shook her hand, and
ESPN's investigative team unearthed previously undisclosed facts. These discoveries include claims of professional disputes and personal difficulties that have been kept quiet for years.
How about mine? Can I get a let's go Sparks? Let's go Sparks! Let's go Sparks! Let's go Sparks!
Given Swoopes' well-known reputation, many people are surprised by these results. According to the article, conflicts and arguments arose throughout her stellar career involving team management, other players,
thought about this moment. You know, I've dreamed of doing a lot of things, but I don't know if I ever thought about what it would feel like to be a
different club executives and players. According to the article, Swoopes was allegedly engaged in heated debates over team strategy and player positions on many occasions.
honestly, being the only female on that stage, basketball player, athlete, whatever, to me, like, I sat there and I feel very...
While these disagreements were often minimized or overlooked at the time,
Caitlin Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Cheryl Swoopes, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game. I know the Monica McNutts and others were getting very, very frustrated at all of the buzz that was going in her direction, not to hate on Caitlin Clark in any way, because I'm sure Monica McNutt does not feel that way. She just knows that there were people on the ground pounding the pavement that were doing so much for women's basketball everywhere that deserved their praise. She was absolutely right in saying that. We don't disagree, but that's utopia. Reality is it didn't happen to this level until Caitlin Clark showed up.
they now provide a fresh perspective on the difficulties she encountered.
There seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoopes herself.
Sports writers and experts have responded to these disclosures, offering context and commentary. Some say that these conflicts are unavoidable in a high-stakes professional atmosphere, particularly in a competitive sport like basketball. Additional information put a pall over Swoopes' otherwise illustrious career, implying that her path was more convoluted than previously thought.
You have any idea how that serves to stain any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree? Do you realize that, Cheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that? Let me tell you why you're insane to do that. Because Cheryl Swoopes, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. That's why. See, you won a championship in college at Texas Tech. You won 3 Olympic gold medals. You won 4 WNBA championships.
Cheryl Swoopes' career has been a shining example for women in athletics, but she, like any other public personality, has faced criticism. It is critical to consider these findings from the perspective of her accomplishments. While these concerns may complicate our view of her legacy, they do not diminish the importance she has had on the sport.
Basketball coach Cheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation, accused of mistreating players. One of them is speaking out this morning, telling us why she wanted to transfer.
Indeed, athletes' emotional and professional image, while dealing with internal tensions and demands.
More, if you had talked about it more, they would have played more games. Like I had the power to go up to ESPN and say, you know, directors and producers and cameramen and everybody else flock to the WNBA at the time when it wasn't nearly as popular as it was today. That's what Monica McNutt accused me of, but it's okay. It's just a disagreement. See, y'all act like there's some buzz and it's a problem. No, it's a debate show. She has her opinion, I have mine. I happen to believe she was wrong. I happen to believe I was right. And I happen to believe the facts have shown that I was right. How was the attendance for Team USA in the Olympics? What would it have been like if Caitlin Clark was playing on that team?
Regardless of the new disclosures, Sheryl Swoopes' accomplishments in women's basketball are tremendous. Her accomplishments, which include 3 WNBA MVP awards and several titles, demonstrate her talent and determination. She was the first player signed by the WNBA and has served as a role model for other players.
She mistreated players.
It was the environment she had created. I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel like...
Her pioneering role in establishing the WNBA and her impact on the evolution of women's basketball cannot be emphasized enough. Swoopes contributed to increasing the prominence of women's athletics.
You know, it doesn't happen without them. It doesn't happen without the amazing coaches. And, you know, to kind of end my career in this note and hopefully winning a national title would be perfect.
Paving the way for future generations of female athletes. While the additional findings complicate her tale, they do not reduce the fundamental influence she has had on the game.
You know, the last thing I say in my speech tomorrow is, you know, it doesn't matter where you come from, dreams do come true. And for me, growing up in a very small town and
Let's now focus our attention on Caitlin Clark. The rising talent recently made news with an incredible performance that stunned the basketball world.
The pace was amazing. That's fun basketball people like to watch, but overall, definitely what I expected.
Clark just produced a game-changing performance, one of the most amazing in recent memory.
Today, after securing 2 WNBA awards for the month of August, she was named Eastern Conference Player of the Month. And
in a game that will be remembered for years, Caitlin Clark demonstrated her remarkable abilities and strategic insight. Her ability to understand the game, execute moves with precision, and lead her side to victory has captivated both fans and commentators alike.
Do y'all notice when she became relevant? When she was waving her hand over her face, mimicking what Caitlin Clark was doing to the competition before she ran into LSU and got bum rushed in the Final Four. That's what made Angel Reese popular en route to LSU winning the national championship a couple of years ago in women's college basketball. And then we watched Angel Reese and her popularity elevate along with her NIL money and beyond. And we paid attention to her. And then Caitlin Clark took her out. But we still remembered. And then Dawn Staley in South Carolina came along and said, Caitlin Clark, we love you. We appreciate you. We're going to send you home with Giselle. And in the post-game celebration on the podium accepting the national championship trophy, what did Dawn Staley do? Celebrated Caitlin Clark.
Clark's performance was about redefining what is possible on the court, not simply putting up amazing statistics. Caitlin Clark herself has been open about her approach to the game. She has emphasized the value of preparation, collaboration, and mental toughness. Her performance represented the culmination of these characteristics, demonstrating her capacity to achieve under duress while also inspiring her colleagues.
What's different about winning this a second time?
I think it's a little different. I think the biggest thing for myself is like this is my senior year. You know, it's special being able to celebrate this with my teammates and having them here and preparing for a Final Four game.
Sports pundits have hailed Caitlin Clark's achievement as a watershed event in basketball history. Her unique playing style and leadership have established a new standard for what is achievable in the sport. Analysts have lauded her ability to push the limits of conventional play and provide a new viewpoint on how the game may be played. Caitlin Clark's achievements are nothing short of astounding. Her performance demonstrates a thorough comprehension of the game and the ability to carry out intricate schemes with ease. She's more than simply a good player, she's a game changer.
I don't think that's what I'm about either, is, you know, yeah, I'm sad we lost this game, but I'm also so proud of myself. I'm so proud of my teammates. I'm so proud of this program. There's a lot to be proud of, but you know, there's going to be tears. It is sad that this is all over and this is the last time I'm going to put on an Iowa jersey. So I think just reflecting back and, you know, soaking in everything that I was able to do, because
Clark's ability to have such a significant impact on the game demonstrates her talent and dedication. She is establishing new standards and motivating a new generation of players to think differently about the sport.
Gotta go up, but honestly, I make that in practice. So when we were in the huddle, that's what I was envisioning. You know, we never stop believing. That's what our group's about. So, you know, that was every single person. It doesn't come down to just...
The effect of Caitlin Clark's performance is already being felt in the basketball community. Young players and spectators alike are encouraged by her accomplishments, and coaches are starting to adapt components of her playstyle into their methods. Clark's achievement is more than simply a personal win. It catalyzes change in the sport. Clark's performance has far-reaching repercussions beyond her career. It reflects the changing nature of basketball and how the sport is always pushing limits. Her unique approach challenges traditional beliefs and inspires others to consider new alternatives. Coaches and players are already aware of Clark's effect.
Every single person in our locker room believed, and to be honest, this year was probably more special than last year. The teams we had to go through to get to this point, we won the Big Ten tournament.
Many people want to adjust their own ideas and training methods to include components of her play style. This signifies a huge shift in the sport, as players and teams want to imitate Clark's success and take the game to new heights.
Off the mark. Clark comes down. There's one of those long passes. Oh, little French pastry from Chelsea Mitchell.
Caitlin Clark's performance exemplifies how invention and originality can lead to athletic success. Her ability to combine talent, strategy, and leadership establishes a new standard for players of all levels.
Obviously, our offense is only going to get better and better, but if we can, find a way to get rid of 7 points every single game, I think we'll be in a position to be a lot more successful down the stretch.
Clark's performance has far-reaching consequences beyond the game. It is generating a cultural revolution in how basketball is played and viewed, as well as creating new options for players and teams to pursue. As the basketball world digests the significance of Clark's accomplishment, we're witnessing a ripple effect in training and coaching. Clark has spurred players to embrace new skills and ideas, and coaches are rethinking their game plans. This progression demonstrates Clark's far-reaching accomplishments. When we compare the legacies of Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark, we find two outstanding women who have both made tremendous contributions to the sport of basketball. While their careers span many decades, their influence on the sport is unmistakable.
0.5 seconds left. How did you get open, first of all?
That's a play we work on every single day in practice, and to be honest, our first look was to get a layup at the rim because we knew they had it.
Basketball historians and commentators have discussed the similarities between Swoopes and Clark. Both women have made a significant contributions to the sport, although in different ways. Swoopes' legacy is based on her pioneering position in women's basketball, while Clark's influence is characterized by her inventive play and leadership. Sheryl Swoopes' career was a pioneering one, paving the door for future generations of female athletes. Her accomplishments and hardships demonstrate the difficulties of being a pioneer in a male-dominated sport.
I think, my main focus is on preparing for a game. I think that's pretty easy for me. I don't think you need...
On the other side, Caitlin Clark's legacy is still being written, but her recent performance has already established new benchmarks for what is possible in basketball. She symbolizes the sport's future and its progress. The legacies of Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark are inextricably linked, showing basketball's continual evolution. Swoopes' efforts provided the groundwork for the expansion of women's basketball, while Clark's accomplishments demonstrated the sport's dynamic progression.
Easy shot.
As we look to the future of basketball, both Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark will surely impact the sport's destiny. Swoopes' trials and victories teach future players crucial lessons, while Clark's accomplishments give a glimpse into the possibilities that lie ahead. Swoopes and Clark's legacies have inspired young players and fans alike. Their tales inspire and remind us of the importance of persistence and invention in athletics. Basketball has a bright future ahead of it, with fresh talent rising and pushing the game's limits.
Any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree. Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that? Let me tell you why you're insane to do that. Because Sheryl Swoopes, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. That's why. See, you won a championship in college at Texas Tech. You won.
Caitlin Clark's and Sheryl Swoopes' legacies will affect the future of basketball. Their contributions highlight the sport's continual growth and potential for future greatness. As time goes on, we may expect to witness more basketball innovation and brilliance. Swoopes and Clark's influences will shape and inspire the next generation of players and fans. The new generation of basketball players is already having an effect, and Swoopes and Clark's attitude to the game exemplifies this. These rising stars are building on the groundwork built by their predecessors and establishing new standards for success. To summarize, the latest discoveries concerning Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark's game-changing performances provide an intriguing peek into the world of basketball. While Swoopes' newly revealed elements complicate her biography, her effect on the sport remains significant. Caitlin Clark's recent successes illustrate the game's continual progress and the bright future that awaits. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the most recent events in basketball. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more stuff about sports and beyond. We'd want to hear your opinions on the new disclosures about Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark's performances. What do you believe these changes indicate for the future of basketball? Please let us know in the comments below. Stay tuned for more interesting developments.
I think turnovers are costing us a little bit. If we can take care of the ball a little bit better, we'll be in a better position, but I thought we did better on the O boards.
Clark's performance on the professional stage has been nothing short of remarkable. She is not just playing the game, she is rewriting the rules and establishing new standards.
But they go in. Not only do they go in consistently. And the way she plays the game, she's the true definition of a great player.
Clark made it evident right away that she wasn't your typical rookie. Her performances have repeatedly been jaw-dropping, and her statistics prove it. Clark, who averages 22.6 points.
I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID, and then obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now
7.8 assists and 5.4 rebounds per game, and has a 34.6% three-point shooting percentage, is not only making an impact,
Slowly developing and getting better and better. And yeah, I think we're just, learning as time goes and each game goes, like we're just getting better and better.
You've had an absolutely whirlwind first half of your rookie campaign. I want to ask you how much you're looking forward to this break, right, coming up.
but also creating history. These statistics are astonishing for any athlete, much alone a rookie. It's a little surprising that she's immediately been the focus of talks about the WNBA's future.
Well, she's definitely taken that golden advice, recently being the first WNBA player that has recorded consecutive 20-plus point rebound games.
However, Clark's effect extends beyond her statistics. Her impact on the Indiana Fever has been nothing short of transformational. Last season, the Fever finished with a 13-27 record, making them one of the league's worst teams.
This is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much.
However, with Clark at the helm, the Fever have made a stunning turnaround. They're no longer the league's punching bag.
I think it's easy. Like, these people are my best friends, and like, that's not for show. Like, I seriously know, like, I'm not me without all of them, and they've had my back. And
instead, they're vying for a postseason place after already exceeding last year's victory total. Clark seemed to have revitalized the whole squad, transforming them into a formidable force.
Yeah, they've both been tremendous. I thought they played great defense. They've made great decisions out of the pick and roll or pick and pop. We got to keep going to them. All right, thanks. Thank you.
The Fever's comeback hasn't gone unnoticed. They're playing entertaining, competitive basketball, and fans are paying attention. Clark's arrival has revitalized the squad.
More than anything, I know these girls are going to be my best friends for the rest of my life, and really that's all that matters to me. I don't really care if we win another game. It's just having these people in my life for forever.
Resulting in an inevitable increase in expectations. However, although the Fever's success story is one of the most thrilling events in recent WNBA history.
Yeah, that's just not a basketball play, but got to play through it. That's what basketball's about at this level. So I thought we've been really physical. We've missed some bunnies around the rim, and so hopefully those fall in the fourth, but really proud of our team.
It has also resulted in a slew of unexpected repercussions. With tremendous success comes considerable attention, not all of which is beneficial.
Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it.
As Clark's fame continues to grow, so does the hostility she seems to be instilling in her opponents.
Stephen A., I'm talking to you, Stephen A., if you had promoted the WNBA more, if you had talked about it more, they would have played more games. Like I had the power to go up to ESPN and say, directors and producers and cameramen and everybody else flock to the WNBA. At the time,
the WNBA has always had its fair share of rivalries and competitive edge, but what we're seeing now with Clark and the Indiana Fever is something new, more fierce.
People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, just because of one single game.
And just looking at that, like,
one of the most striking evidence of this growing hatred came in a recent game versus the Connecticut Sun. During the match, Alyssa Thomas committed a hard foul on Clark, which many fans and experts deemed unwarranted and unnecessarily violent. The foul was largely viewed as a direct message: welcome to the WNBA, rookie. It was a sharp reminder that despite her outstanding accomplishments, Clark is still seen as an outsider by some of the league's veterans. However, the situation with Thomas is not uncommon. In many games, Clark has faced more physical and aggressive defense.
Give it up for these women, these incredible seniors, and thank you for all that you've
Opposing teams seem eager to go to any length to control her, even crossing the line into unsportsmanlike behavior. This kind of approach demonstrates Clark's impact. Teams are starting to regard her as more than simply a brilliant player, but also a real danger to their success.
honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball.
Clark's resilience, however, is her most outstanding quality. Despite the increasing aggressiveness and efforts to knock her off her game, she stays undeterred. She continues to play her signature style of basketball, making impossible passes, scoring long-range shots, and leading her team with grace and confidence. Clark isn't simply surviving the hardships she faces, she's flourishing in them. Given the background of escalating tensions, it's no wonder that emotions are high around the league. However, Teresa Weatherspoon's reply at a recent news appearance surprised many. Weatherspoon, a renowned figure in women's basketball, is noted for her wide knowledge and level-headed approach to the game.
I'm pretty sure I'll be in a three-point competition for everybody to watch at some point. Not everybody needs to freak out. So, but also like, the roster that we have in the three-point competition is incredible. You look at their percentages, they're all 40% three-point shooters. Like, they're shooting better percentage-wise than I am, so they all deserve it. I'll be there supporting, watching them. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be exciting. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was just like take some rest and make a decision for myself, which is at times can be hard to do. And
that's why her hasty exit from a news appearance, refusing to answer questions regarding Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, has perplexed many. In all of my years covering basketball, I've never seen anything like that. Coaches are often required to exhibit a sense of calm and professionalism, particularly in front of the media. However, Weatherspoon's reply was anything but calm.
I'm honestly proud of myself for doing that.
I so appreciate your honesty there. And I was talking to Diana Taurasi earlier today.
Her abrupt departure generated more questions than it answered, leading everyone to speculate on what might have provoked such a strong reaction. To comprehend the importance of this occasion, we must first analyze Teresa Weatherspoon.
Yeah, obviously nothing's official, and for this league, like to me, it's like sky's the limit. You're seeing how incredible it can be. You can see how hard it is to get a ticket to get into the doors, how many people want to turn it on their television, how people are traveling miles and miles to come and watch and have an opportunity to interact with the players or just watch the players play basketball live in person. So, you know, obviously expansion is going to really help. The new media deal is going to help.
She is not just any coach, she is a Hall of Famer, a two-time WNBA champion, and a veteran of the women's basketball world. For someone of her standing to respond in this manner implies that something else is going on. One idea suggests that Weatherspoon's behavior stems from dissatisfaction. The Chicago Sky, on which she has poured her heart and her, is faltering this season, but Clark's Indiana Fever is on the rise.
And I think you're just going to continue to see it grow. This is really only the beginning in my eyes. It's the hardest league in all of sports with only, you know, less than 144 spots. Obviously that's expanding, but you know, I'm excited. The people that have been in this league deserve it, and then obviously the people that are going to continue to come into this league are.
It's conceivable that witnessing her team struggle while a rookie like Clark dominates the league is hard for her to accept. After all, Weatherspoon has spent years establishing her image and team, and suddenly a 22-year-old is stealing the show. This might be a difficult pill to take for someone who has devoted their life to the sport.
90 seconds left to play here in the first quarter. Looking for Reese. In fact, that leg tips it away and off and running. Caitlin Clark.
The Caitlin Clark effect refers not just to her on-court performance, but also to how she is transforming the whole WNBA. Her success has brought the league unparalleled exposure, recruiting new fans, and creating media coverage that women's basketball has seldom experienced before. This increased prominence is definitely beneficial to the sport as a whole, but it is also causing a ripple effect that puts pressure on everyone involved.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch them.
What was your level of disappointment not ever hearing your name on the roster?
Honestly, no disappointment. Like, I think it just gives you something to work for. You know, it's a dream. You know, hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and you know, hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, you know, I can be there.
Did you have a direct conversation with managing director or whomever's over there at USAB recently?
Yeah, they called me and let me know, and before everything came out, which was, you know, really respectful of them, and I appreciated that. And they did the same for every girl that made the team or every girl that didn't make the team. You know, there's a lot of players in the Olympic pool, so it wasn't like I was the only one they had to call. They had to make quite a few calls.
Are you looking forward to a break, you know, from Olympic action, basketball in general, I guess?
For years, the WNBA has struggled to establish its position in the cluttered sports scene, sometimes failing to attract the same degree of attention as men's leagues.
The craziness of everything that's been going on, and you know, just find some peace and quiet for myself. But then additionally, like, a great opportunity for us to work and get better, a great opportunity for myself to get in the weight room, to work on the court and work at things that I want to get better at that I maybe didn't have time going from college to the pro season. So I'm looking forward to it. But at the same time, like, we still have a month of games where we have a lot of opportunities to win a lot of games. So that's where my main focus is.
What was it like to try to prepare for Team USA? Like, you were in Cleveland when they were hosting camp, but like, obviously you had other things in your mind.
However, with Clark's arrival, the narrative is starting to alter. Fever games are attracting record crowds, social media is humming with her highlights, and everyone wants to speak about the WNBA. Clark is more than simply a player. She is a phenomenon who is transforming the league in ways few could have predicted.
Competitors. They're out there to compete to go win. And when you're in a different uniform, you're just competing to go win. And then a lot of times it's at all costs.
However, this sudden exposure brings a lot of strain. Coaches who previously worked in relative obscurity are now under scrutiny. Every tactical choice, replacement, and post-game statement is scrutinized more than ever before. Some may embrace this transition as an opportunity to get the recognition they deserve finally. Others, however, find it very stressful. Teresa Weatherspoon's response may be seen as a microcosm of the larger problem. As a seasoned coach, she's used to working inside a certain framework, which Clark's presence has upended. The increased media attention, the pressure to perform, and the necessity to adjust to a new style of play are all contributing to a more difficult situation for established league figures.
We did as a team, we spoke about it, we did what we had to do as a team to speak about how we conduct ourselves, and we moved on from there. The world kept speaking, you let the world keep speaking, but
there's also the issue of playing style. Caitlin Clark plays a daring style of basketball with dangerous passes and long-range shots. This style contradicts professional football's old norms, and for more conservative coaches, it may seem to be an affront to the right way to play. Clark's performance demonstrates that there are other ways to win in the WNBA, but it also forces coaches and players to reevaluate their approaches to the game. Then there's the money side. Clark's success brings more money and attention to the league, increasing the pressure on everyone to excel. Coaches who are unable to adjust to this new age may find themselves swiftly out of job, while slow-moving players risk falling behind. The stakes have never been greater, and for some, this is a tough fact to accept.
The Sky shooting 38%. Caitlin Clark, another three-pointer.
As we look forward to the WNBA playoffs, it's evident that Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever will play key roles in the drama that awaits. The league's fans are ecstatic right now. The Fever's turnaround, paired with Clark's brilliance, has created the potential for one of the most exciting playoff runs in recent memory. Clark's presence, however, presents a big challenge to the league's other clubs. How do you prepare to play against a player who seems to have a response for everything? How can you stop a club that has been building momentum all season? These are the questions that coaches and players are considering as they prepare for the playoffs. Teresa Weatherspoon and the Chicago Sky face an especially hard path ahead. The Sky have yet to find consistency this season, and if they want to make a long postseason run, they must find a way to stop Clark. Weatherspoon's outburst at the press conference may be seen as evidence that she is feeling the strain more intensely than ever before. But if we've learned anything about Weatherspoon, it's that she's a fierce competitor. She may have been frustrated, but you can guarantee she'll be doing all she she can to prepare her squad for the next task.
Style being here is really hurting Chicago tonight. Kennedy a guard, but so effective in the paint. And Boston now has gone back to...
Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever are entering the playoffs with confidence they haven't felt in years. Clark has given them the conviction that they can defeat anybody, which is a dangerous mindset for their opponents. The Fever's success is due to more than just one player, but there is little doubt that Clark is the driving force behind their extraordinary turnaround. As the playoffs come, all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark. Can she keep performing at this great level when the stakes are highest? Can she guide the Fever to a long playoff run and possibly a championship? These are the issues that will define the playoffs, and the answers will most likely have long-term implications for the WNBA. But regardless of what happens, one thing is certain: Caitlin Clark has already altered the league in ways that will be felt for years. She's more than simply a newcomer. She's a game changer, a pioneer, and a force of nature. As the WNBA evolves, athletes like Clark will help mold its future.
But Caitlin Clark is a special player. She reminds me of a Steph Curry. You know, a lot of times she takes those ill-advised shots that me and Chuck don't like.
The WNBA is undergoing a seismic transformation, with Caitlin Clark at the center. Her entrance not only raised the standard of play, but also drew increased attention and scrutiny to the league. Some people, such as Teresa Weatherspoon, are having difficulty adjusting to their new world. Clark's effect, on the other hand, is a step forward for the WNBA as a whole, a look into a future in which women's basketball is given the credit it deserves. As supporters, we are fortunate to be here at this historic time. The 2024 WNBA season is shaping up to be one for the ages, with the playoffs promising even more drama, excitement, and memorable moments. Whether you're a die-hard fan or a casual spectator, now is the moment to tune in, because Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are doing something unique.
Final few seconds. Caitlin Clark, a career-high night. The Fever put up 100 and take the series.
So as we prepare for the playoffs, let's continue the discourse. What do you think of Teresa Weatherspoon's reaction? How do you see the Caitlin Clark effect playing out in the postseason? Most importantly, who do you believe will come out on top? Please leave your opinions in the comments section below, and remember to subscribe to our channel for more WNBA news, analysis, and updates. The future of women's basketball looks brighter than ever, and Caitlin Clark is leading the way. The only issue is, who is ready to take on the challenge? Did you know that Caitlin Clark has seized the limelight in women's basketball, putting luminaries like Cheryl Swoopes in the background? Yes, you heard it correctly. Caitlin Clark has become the buzz of the town, a household name, and the WNBA's brightest light. However, with that focus comes a barrage of criticism, and shockingly, some of the sharpest criticism has come from inside the same league she is revitalizing.
Here's Clark. Clark looking to take it around Lloyd. Clark bodies in and finishes.
Clark's contribution to the game is unquestionable. She's more than simply an excellent player. She's a game changer. She has been rewriting the record book since she first walked onto the court.
I think it's easy. Like, these people are my best friends, and like, that's not for show. Like, I seriously know, like, I'm not me without all of them, and they've had my back, and they do a lot of dirty work for me to be able to have the fun and take crazy shots.
And this is not an exaggeration. Every time she plays, she has a high possibility of setting a new standard, breaking a record, and taking the game to new heights.
Thank you everyone for being here. Like I said, I expect these crowds forevermore, because this is just the beginning for women's basketball here in the state of Iowa. Give it up for these women, these incredible seniors, and thank you for all that you've done.
However, her spectacular ascent has resulted in an equally intense surge of jealousy, and not only from her opponents. Surprisingly, some of this criticism has come from WNBA luminaries who, rather than recognizing Clark's accomplishments, seem to belittle them.
The people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you, so seriously, I mean that, and I thank you.
One of the most outspoken detractors has been Cheryl Swoopes, a name associated with brilliance in women's basketball.
Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be, and I don't think it should be.
Swoopes is a legend in her own right, winning collegiate championships, Olympic gold medals, and WNBA crowns. Her legacy in the sport is safe, but her recent statements regarding Clark have generated more than a few questions.
So I waited until halftime of the All-Star game, and so I went over and, talked to him for a minute and introduced.
Swoopes seems to have taken issue with Clark's attention and praises, and she hasn't been hesitant in expressing her opinions.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time.
Swoopes made a bold comment, claiming that Angel Reese's game would be more suited to the WNBA than Clark. At the time, that was a reasonable perspective, particularly given Reese's tough style of play and defensive skill.
She had just made a shot or something. She came over the bench and she just stood right in front of us and was just clapping at us, and we all, there was just a picture of us surrounding her.
But when Clark continued to dominate, Swoopes' words changed tone. She began to criticize Clark's game.
So I'm right-handed, but I love going left. I don't know how that makes sense, but I do. And everybody knew what my signature move was, but nobody could ever stop it.
Claiming that her NCAA points record was based on volume shooting rather than technique, Swoopes claimed that Clark was taking too many shots and that her success was based on number rather than quality.
Well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had.
Many members of the basketball community were offended by these remarks, and with good cause. Clark's accomplishments speak for themselves.
Tremendous. She just dominates. Honestly, we probably should have got her the ball a little bit more, but they played pretty much a front defense on her, but she's just tremendous. She's really good, and
she isn't simply piling up points, she's doing it effectively and in a manner that benefits her team. But Swoopes wasn't finished. Even after she apologized for her original remarks, she continued to attack Clark, both physically and metaphorically.
She's a senior, but I think her COVID year was last year.
Swoopes' criticism did not end with Clark's collegiate tenure. Swoopes continued to belittle Clark's accomplishments once she joined the WNBA. Despite the fact that Clark began to shatter records in the professional league, Clark has already broken many WNBA milestones, including the most consecutive point-assist double-doubles in a rookie season, the most double-doubles by a rookie guard, and the youngest player to achieve back-to-back double-doubles in points and assists. And that's just the beginning. She has also established multiple franchise records with the Indiana Fever, cementing her place in history in only one season.
Looking back over my 4 years is just, I'm very grateful, starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID, and then obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds, the curtains were down a lot of the games, and now
Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is, I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be, and I don't think it should be.
Swoopes has decided to dismiss these successes, instead focusing on other players such as Lexi Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. While these players have delivered outstanding performances, it's difficult to overlook the reality that Swoopes seems to be intentionally removing Clark from the discourse. This selective acknowledgement has not gone unnoticed, prompting conjecture that Swoopes may have a personal prejudice against Clark.
Those guys, I've just put my head down, I focus on the work. You start counting, then all of a sudden you start thinking about the inordinate amount of work that you're doing.
Stephen A. Smith, renowned for his strong beliefs, recently chose to weigh in on the issue. Smith chastised Swoopes for her biased viewpoints, noting that it's hard to discuss the Indiana Fever's recent success without mentioning Clark.
Everybody else had over 20,000 plus. You think that would happen if Caitlin Clark was on that team?
He chastised Swoopes for failing to give Clark the recognition she deserves, particularly given Clark's significant contribution to the team's improvement in the rankings.
In regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoopes herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court.
Smith didn't mince words, emphasizing how Clark has not only led the Fever, but also established attendance and viewership records. Clark's games had the greatest attendance and TV ratings. Despite this, Swoopes continues to minimize her significance, focusing instead on other players.
To me, I sat there and I feel very proud of what I've done, what I've accomplished, and I look at all the women who came before me, those who will come after me.
This has sparked a bigger discussion about why Swoopes and maybe others in the league seem to be disparaging Clark's achievements. Is it jealousy? Is there a reluctance to give the torch to the next generation? Whatever the cause, it's evident that this is more than simply a disagreement of opinion.
No, Caitlin Clark. Cheryl Swoopes. No, Caitlin Clark.
Swoopes' failure to appreciate Clark's achievements is especially perplexing considering her own playing experience. Swoopes understands better than anybody how difficult it is to accomplish at the greatest level, yet she seems hesitant to give Clark her due. Many have questioned if Swoopes is allowing her sentiments to interfere with her analytical process. Swoopes sends the incorrect message to new players and spectators, implying that even if you reach greatness, you may be forgotten or rejected by those who came before you.
Respectfully, Cheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain?
But if Swoopes felt her remarks would go unchecked, she was mistaken. Smith's critique of her biased viewpoints has pushed this problem to the forefront, prompting a discussion about how we recognize and reward achievement in women's sports. Smith emphasized that it is completely okay to criticize a player, especially a superstar like Clark. After all, nobody is flawless, and constructive criticism is a necessary part of the game. However, when such critique becomes biased or unjust, it loses its credibility. Smith also reminded everyone of Clark's amazing achievements on and off the court. She's more than simply a player. She's a brand, a representation of what is possible in women's sports. Her effect extends beyond winning games. She is altering the way the WNBA handles business, recruiting new fans, and giving the league more exposure than ever before.
Clark trying to shake Whitcomb, step back is good, and in the mid-range.
It's also worth noting that Clark's path has been challenging. She needed an easier adjustment into the WNBA. Despite her accomplishments in college, she experienced a steep learning curve when she entered the working world. In her first game, she established an ugly record by committing 10 turnovers, the most in WNBA history. The Fever's defeats also piled up swiftly, raising questions about Clark's ability to live up to the promise. Clark, however, did not allow her early challenges to define her. Instead, she used them as an incentive to improve. She worked really hard to develop her game, and the results speak for themselves. Since returning from the Olympic break, the Fever has gone on a 2-game winning streak over difficult opponents like the Phoenix Mercury and the Seattle Storm. Clark shattered several club and league records during those games, solidifying her standing as one of the league's top players. Clark needed just 2 assists against the Seattle Storm to break the WNBA record for most assists by a rookie, which had stood for 26 years. She completed this feat before halftime, securing yet another record. Her performance confirmed her skill and promise as one of the league's all-time greats.
The lead. Look at a Shane Corsten. Clark sings a pass. Hole on the wing. Connects.
Despite this, Swoopes continues to minimize Clark's significance, focusing on other players and even mentioning guys from losing teams. Swoopes seemed to be going out of her way to avoid admitting what everyone else already knows. Caitlin Clark is the genuine thing. This has resulted in a developing notion that some media members and former players are attempting to diminish Clark's successes. This tendency, whether motivated by envy, fear of being overshadowed, or just a reluctance to accept the new generation, is disturbing. It conveys the concept that no matter how much you accomplish, there will always be others who want to bring you down, but Clark refuses to let the critics get to her. She's accustomed to receiving criticism and has often shown her ability to rise above it. In fact, she uses it as motivation to continue pushing herself to new heights. Clark understands that each time she gets onto the court, she has the potential to quiet her naysayers and prove them wrong, and this is precisely what she has been doing. It's also worth mentioning that Clark's influence extends beyond her on-court performances. She's become a role model for young athletes, demonstrating what's achievable through hard work and commitment. Her fame has attracted new fans to the WNBA, and she is helping to raise the whole league. This is something to be appreciated, not dismissed. Clark?
Women's sports in general, but you're changing it, you're helping us change it, so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all...
As Smith pointed out, is a game changer, not simply a player. She's lifting her colleagues, attracting new viewers, and advancing the sport of women's basketball. While some may attempt to downplay her achievements, there's no doubting her effect on the sport.
Look at his shaking at Smith. Clark lobbing it in. Boston draws 2 in the corner. Oh, you bet!
So what comes next for Caitlin Clark? If her track record is any indication, she's just getting started. Clark has accomplished so much in such a short period, yet she still has lots of potential to develop and improve. She has shown the skill, work ethic, and dedication to become one of the greatest players in women's basketball history. Skylar Diggins reportedly attacked Caitlin Clark during a WNBA game, and then Shannon Sharpe revealed the issue on national television. This topic has been trending on social media, and we're here to break down every aspect for you. Make sure you stay around because we've got all the background, responses, and aftermath you need. Let's get to it.
A little bit of everything in this one, but the bottom line is Seattle wins, and they go to 2-3, and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever gave it a great effort, but they fall 2 points short, and they are now 0-5 on the season. My goodness.
To truly comprehend what transpired between Skylar Diggins and Caitlin Clark, we must backtrack a little. Caitlin Clark has been among the most talked about players in the WNBA this season. Leading her squad, the Indiana Fever, she is not only building a reputation for herself, but also ruffling some feathers along the road.
I think just reflecting back over my 4 years is just, I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID. And then obviously my sophomore year, we had good crowds. The curtains were down a lot of the games, and now it's impossible to get a ticket to get in the door to our games. So, yeah. I think the people that have made it the most special, obviously my teammates, my coaches, but it isn't what it is without all of you. So seriously, I mean that, and I thank you. And this is special. I don't know if you guys realize what you're doing for women's basketball and women's sports in general, but you're changing it. You're helping us change it. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much.
Her ferocious competition, paired with her ability to excite the fans, has earned her a polarizing reputation on the court.
Yeah, I think for me, anytime you go up against somebody that's super competitive and, you know, has that same drive and will to win, that's what you love. That's what competitors love. These type of games is what makes our game so great. It's what people want to turn on the TV and watch. I expect the viewership numbers to be through the roof for this. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the pressure that she probably feels on the weight of her shoulders, and you know that's a lot to deal with somebody that's 22 years old and has that many eyeballs on her, and being able to manage that. And I know she probably has a lot of people around her that help her, and that's definitely something unique.
During a recent game against the Seattle Storm, emotions were already high. The Indiana Fever, captained by Caitlin Clark, dominated the Storm. The game finished in a blowout, with the Fever claiming a dominating win. However, the drama did not finish with the final buzzer.
Tisha Penichero's record for most assists in a season by a rookie. Here's Clark speeding all the way in to the cup. Boston gets it in the arms of Clark. Clark, the crossover, the
After the victory, while Caitlin Clark was celebrating with her teammates, Skylar Diggins, a seasoned league veteran and Seattle Storm player, approached Caitlin. Skylar apparently bumped into Caitlin in an unexpected manner, which many are calling an assault. This wasn't a casual brush, it was a planned deed that shocked the WNBA community. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark is recognized for her passionate style of play and her excitement for energizing the audience. She wasn't trying to be nasty, she was just enjoying a hard-fought triumph. However, Skylar Diggins seems to have interpreted this incorrectly. The event was caught on film and rapidly went viral, igniting a heated discussion on social media.
That will officially do it. Indiana gets its first win of the season against Seattle. 92-75 the final. As Christy Sides and Noel Quinn exchange a long hug.
Shannon Sharpe, a former NFL great and now a well-known sports broadcaster, became aware of the occurrence. He was candid on his program. Shannon went off on Skylar Diggins, criticizing her behavior and supporting Caitlin Clark. According to Shannon, Skylar's actions were extremely inappropriate and showed a lack of sportsmanship. Shannon's response was a combination of amazement and fury. He couldn't understand why a seasoned player like Skylar Diggins would engage in such behavior, particularly against a rising star like Caitlin Clark. Shannon emphasized that Caitlin Clark is the WNBA's future face, and acts like this are damaging to the league's reputation. When Shannon Sharpe's words aired, the social internet erupted. Fans and experts alike commented on the scenario. Some backed Skylar Diggins, claiming that Caitlin Clark's actions were provocative and that she had it coming. Others agreed with Shannon Sharpe, saying that Skylar's behaviors were inappropriate and unprofessional.
In regards to Clark, starting with WNBA legend Cheryl Swoopes herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court, and didn't mention the rookie when speaking of Indiana's rise in the standings.
The discussion raged on Twitter, Instagram, and other social media sites, with hashtags like #TeamCaitlyn and #TeamSkylar trending for days. Everyone had an opinion, and the WNBA found itself at the center of a contentious debate. So what came next? The WNBA took note of the situation and initiated an inquiry. While the league has yet to release an official comment, reports claim that both players have been talked to about their actions. Depending on the result of the inquiry, Skylar Diggins might face fines or penalties. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has stayed pretty silent about the situation. In a post-game interview, she dismissed the incident, saying she is focused on winning and does not have time for drama. However, this episode has exacerbated her burgeoning animosity with Skylar Diggins.
To the rebound, Clark a good look. She got it. Had missed her first 6 from deep.
Confuse matters. As the WNBA season progresses, all eyes will be on Caitlin Clark and Skylar Diggins. Will their rivalry increase more, or will they find a way to move on from this incident? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, fans will be watching attentively. Caitlin Clark has already shown that she is a force to be reckoned with, and this event simply adds to her mystique. Meanwhile, Skylar Diggins must determine how she will handle the matter in the future. Will she apologize and make apologies, or will she continue to play the villain?
I thought she would be good. You and I both said she's going to be good because she got two skill sets. She can score the basketball and she can assist the basketball. So if one is not going, the other one will. But a lot of people say, oh, this and that. Let her cook. Y'all stop being petty. Stop being catty, because she like a double-edged sword. She cutting tail left and right. And it's bothering y'all, and I see it. Let's go, Caitlin. Hey, do me a favor, CC. Send your favorite uncle a jersey with your autograph on it, and I'll wear it.
Shannon Sharpe's words also had a big influence. His comments are important since he is a recognized person in the sports world. By naming Skylar Diggins, he has drawn even more attention to the problem and pushed the WNBA to confront it. Some may argue that Shannon Sharpe was only doing his job as a pundit, but there is no disputing that his remarks have poured gasoline on the flames. He's made it apparent that he's on Caitlin Clark's side, which may impact how the public sees the matter going forward. Fans' reactions have been divided. Caitlin Clark has a large following, and many of her followers have been vociferous in their defense. They regard her as the future of the WNBA and think other players are unjustly attacking her.
Let her cook. But if I'm Caitlin Clark, I'd have told Skylar Diggins, get your coat, your brim, and get on out of my gym.
Skylar